Year, what's good? It's your boy, the Top Slug, the Sofa King, Jay Haynes, and I'm back with another video. Oh, it's been a minute. It's been a minute. I've been busy, working hard, living life. What can I say? Obviously, YouTube for me is just something that I'm trying to get off the ground, but I gotta live boots on the ground out here in the real world too. So I've been trying to get it, man. I've been hustling. I've been really, focusing on work, focusing on some, the things I want to do around myself to kind of get in a more comfortable position at least. Not that you can never be too comfortable nowadays, but just enough to where some things can be taken care of that I've been trying to get done for a while, and I haven't had as much time to hop on here and just kind of make these videos. Just being tired, spending a lot of time at work, going hard, running errands, different things. But that's part of the grind, right? And so today, I wanted to make sure that I made time for this, and try to put out some content. Just because, listen, how else is it gonna work, right? So, yeah, I'm back, man. I mean, feeling good about life. I don't know when's the last time I put a video out. It might have been some weeks, but Valentine's Day just passed. For me, it was just another day, right? It was a Wednesday, no, Monday. Yeah, it was a Monday, and I didn't do much of anything. I didn't have any special person to take out or do anything with. I did try to get out, have some fun, because the scene was lit, but that big V, I ain't got it, so it's a little tough, right, in the DC area. But luckily, I think that's changing coming up here March 1st, so I'll be able to feel like I can get fully in the mix again. And hopefully the same thing in New York, so I can spend some time at home and really get out and have the type of nights I'm sure we all need after being quarantined and COVID and everything else that we deal with. But I'm here and trying to make the most out of what's in front of me, right? So today, not really much on my mind. I know it's been a minute since I've done a video, but my mind hasn't really been on any type of particular content or anything that's been going on in the social world. But I've been seeing things here and there and listening to conversations, and I always got my input, right, like anybody else, but nothing I wanted to hop on here and rant about for 30 minutes or whatever I might do right here. But there's a lot of interesting things out here in the world. Well, just to kind of start with some current events, the Rams won the Super Bowl. Shout out to LA, shout out to the Rams, Stafford, OBJ, Cooper Kupp, all those guys. I'm a big sports fan at heart, so you gotta mind me. That's always gonna be a thing that's part of what I try to do here. I'm hoping to set up some conversations, do some sports related content pretty soon, but we'll see. It's much easier for me to sit here and talk shit about whatever else is going on. Got the All-Star game this weekend, All-Star break out there in Cleveland, right? Just like they always say every year, if you're a shorty or somebody some female you're interested in, if she's headed to Cleveland, right, you know what time it is. I mean, especially Cleveland, right? LA, Miami, they may be able to, they may be able to get it off, right? But like Cleveland, it's nothing out there, unless you got family or you're from there. You're not just running to Cleveland on a February weekend. So we know what time that is, and God bless to all those ladies, right? I hope they get what they're looking for. And I hope you gentlemen out there strap up, be safe. Hopefully it's not a lot of crime and crazy shit, but every All-Star break is something, right? All the Negroes, for lack of a better word, congregating in one area. We know how we give it up, right? Like I'm one of those same people. I'll be out there if I could. So I know how it goes, right? And I know how those type of things can turn real sticky quick. So God bless everybody that's out there. Me, I've been in my skin in the DC area. Like I said, I've been trying to get out, trying to have some fun, trying to meet some new people, you know. you know. But, it's hard, man. It's hard right now with all the things that are going on. Obviously, the big C, you need the big V, that cootie shot, whatever you want to call it. It's been a little tough, right? It's been a little tough for your social life. Hard to find that balance between, work and responsibilities outside of work, and obviously getting time for yourself. Time for yourself is cool when it's in the house, you're resting, you're chilling, but you got to get in the mix too. You got to feel something, especially as a man, you want to touch something soft, right? We all know how that goes. So it's been a little bit hard to kind of get out there and get in the mix and do anything leisurely, but soon come, right? And I hope that we don't have to go back to the way that things have been anytime soon. It seems like that's starting to be kind of in the rear view a little bit, but you never know. So hopefully while it's good, we can get it, right? So I'm looking forward to maybe March 1st, celebrating a little bit. We'll see how it goes. I know some places can still kind of mandate whatever they want to mandate, but hopefully they play fair, right? So we'll see, and outside of that, man, like, life is life, right? Trying to get more money every day, trying to find more success, trying to get more freedom of time, and freedom of, expression, obviously. But, I can't really, I don't really like to get too deep into certain topics, right? Just because it feels like I got to be more transparent about my own personal situations. But I've been hearing a lot about, like, the conversation based on relationships and Black relationships, obviously, and Black dating, right? If you want to call it that. Courtship, carousel, the field, whatever you want to call it. Being out here in the streets, right? Not that I'm in the streets, but like being out here watching the streets, observing, right? It's interesting, man. It's a lot going on, man. And even from my recent experience, talking to different people, meeting new people through work or whatever have you, just kind of seeing the mentalities that kind of are out there. It's interesting, right? And especially, me being somebody who spends time online and engages in certain conversations and content related to Black relationships or relationships in general, or men's kind of thinking, or red pill manosphere, whatever you want to call it. There's a lot of conversations in those circles that are interesting, right? And a lot of things that I feel like are strictly like internet talk. But more and more, I'm seeing like people in real life seem to kind of be adopting those principles, right? And what I mean by that is just, some of the really hard lines that seem to exist when you talk about relationships on the internet, man. It's interesting to me and somewhat unrealistic, right? I hate to be the person who always comes on here and, is down in what other people think, right? But I mean, I'm all about perspective, and, I listen to other people's, and, I give mine when I feel like it's necessary. And, one of the big conversations with relationships is just kind of the dynamics, right? And the roles that are kind of established or not established or in flux, or the issues that kind of exist with those roles between genders, and obviously there's the cliche, stuff. A man, he's supposed to protect, he's supposed to provide, he's supposed to do all these different things to secure and provide safety and comfortability for a woman. And a woman is then supposed to, in turn, nurture and help ease that man's life and relieve stress and bring peace, right? And that sounds good. It's real simple. And obviously, that's the baseline of, I think, what each side wants, right? as a man, I mean, I don't want to say as a real man, or a real nigga, but like as a man who wants to be what he should be, I guess. You want to be able to protect and provide for your lady or your family, your mom, your dad, your aunts, your uncles, whoever it may be, right? Like that's a deeper, broader conversation in general. As a man, you want to be able to like create and sustain and provide for the people around you, just because you want to be kind of like a beacon of light in that way, to where, I'm eating so much, I can take care of this person, I can do this, all these responsibilities that I'm going to have naturally as a man. Obviously, the more I can kind of provide and the more resources that I attain, it makes it easier to deal with, right? And it makes my life easier. So, that's a given, right? And so obviously within a relationship, you should want to kind of be, and obviously, if nothing else, present yourself with the ideal of becoming the best kind of man or woman you could be. And I would think that's part of it for most people, if not everybody, right? And in a real kind of general way. But on top of that, right, like, what it is, right? Like, you don't want to be lesser than the next person out here who may be willing to do X, Y, and Z for women, or in relationships, or on the dating scene, or in the streets, right? So you can't get caught lacking, right? So you want to be able to put yourself on the same kind of footing as everybody else if you are kind of competing, right, in anything, or you should. But and with that comes just the stereotypical standards of life, or common society now, where, as a man, you're expected to kind of play the role of primary provider of not only financial things, as well as like just overall thoughts and ideas and leadership, which, I don't know, man. I don't like to use the term alpha and, kind of all these generic things when it comes to being a man, because I think it's something that's very, very diverse. And I do respect different types of men and different personalities. But I think all of that should come with wanting to be, you know, that dude, I guess, for lack of a better word. And that should be, provision, right? And attaining resources and your productivity should be a big part of that, no matter what. I mean, I don't know really how else to put it. This world revolves around certain things. Money is a big component. Reputation is a big component. Where your name kind of carries you, where your face carries you, where your demeanor kind of can carry you, are all big components. So as a man, you should want to be strong in those areas. I mean, I think so. I believe, right? So it goes without saying, right? And not to keep going on a tangent, but like, obviously, as a man, those are the things that are expected. So whatever that woman that you're kind of going after, to whatever her standard is. And as a woman, right, I would imagine or assume, I'm not a woman, so I can only speak but so much on that. I think all women want to be, nurturing to the men that they have in their lives, right? However their personality kind of exhibits those things is what it is, but they want that to work, right? They want who they are to work. They want who they are to elicit certain emotions in a man. I would just assume, right? I've dealt with enough women in different ways and had enough friends or family members or whoever to kind of know that even, that nerdy, kind of awkward chick, she wants that nerdy awkwardness to be endearing and evoke kind of romance from whatever type of guy and whatever type of way that may be for her. But that's ultimately the goal. So however that manifests for a woman, I guess that's for her to determine. But obviously the kind of concept is the same, that you want to be the best woman you can be, and whatever you define that as. Just like as a man, you want to be the best man you could be, the way you define it. And you want to be able to stand on who you are and what you have achieved in your kind of viewpoint, to where it can't be questioned, even if somebody has a different kind of idea. Whatever I'm trying to do, I'm doing it well, and that's the whole idea behind it. I think for both genders, right? And so with that being said, I think that, it's hard to kind of hear certain conversations that kind of seem to exist in a vacuum, right? Um, One of the big ones, and maybe I'm exposing myself a little bit, but it's the idea of what you bring to the table, right? And this is something that we could talk about for, I'm sure, years, if it hasn't already been talked about for years. But what each kind of individual person or male, female, usually, right, would bring to the table, or, whatever the sexuality, I guess it works the same way, where you want to be valuable to somebody and you want them to bring a certain value to you. Typically, if you are like I would say a kind of strong-minded individual, you're not just trying to be used. Usually some of those things come from other traumas where you just want to be a giver, or you want to, get without giving, or whatever it is, right? I think most people want to be in a situation where they want to get what they want and they want to be able to reciprocate something that pleases the person they're with the same way. And I would hope so, right? And if not, those are the only people I want to talk about. I don't want to talk about selfish people or people who are looking to get over. Obviously, that's not what, my mentality is going to be geared towards, because, I believe in fairness, right? I believe in equivalent exchange and, reciprocity. So, that's kind of where I would like to start from. And then with that being said, like one of the big kind of topics, just to kind of specify, so we don't go all over the place, right? Would be around the idea of the dreaded, the controversial, the often misunderstood, I would say, the hard line for some women, of a man paying all the bills, or of a couple deciding to go, quote unquote, 50-50. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure you've heard that conversation. I'm sure anytime you see a meme or any type of post or anything about a woman paying a bill, or a man like asking a woman for money, or a woman being single and looking for somebody to get in their life, or whatever it is, that's usually like one of those internet concepts that I feel really only exist in certain kind of realms of society, but dominates on the internet just because people, you know, I don't know. I don't want to say fake, but like it's easy. It's easy to say that and kind of just have such a hard standard. Because I mean, it's also one of those things where situationally, I mean, does it even make sense, right? Like, let's say I won't take myself for example, but let's say we take an above average man. He makes $70,000 a year. He has a good life, a pretty decent quality of living, right? You start dating a young lady. How serious do you even need to be to start thinking about paying for her or treating her to life? And I mean, I'm definitely one who I believe as a man, just to set a precedent, you pay for the first date, you pay for the first couple dates. If you can drive, you always drive your own vehicle. You really don't want to depend on a woman. Up until, very, very later in life, I've never even lived with a woman. Um, I think that a lot of these things are just kind of just the standard how you should kind of be, just because not to like stand on it as I'm this kind of man, I'm that kind of man, but it's just not safe, right? It's just not safe to put yourself in certain positions if you don't have to, as a guy out here. And so that's where my mentality stems from. But obviously the side effect of that is that that is a little bit more traditional. But with that being said, I mean, I'm not so traditional that I'm looking to just kind of treat somebody to life in general. Now, if I got a place and I'm serious about a young lady, she moves in with me, all these different things, that's fine. But like, I'm not gonna just start paying her car note just because we dating, right? Like, you still have a job, you still have a life, um, and so like when it comes to dating, that idea is just kind of silly. You know what I mean? Like, that's kind of dumb, um, until you get very, very serious, right? And at that point, I think that wouldn't the best idea be for both of you guys to kind of put all of your resources together in whatever way, even if it's us both giving 70%, we put in a pot, and then that's how we kind of make things happen, whether it be paying bills or going on trips or, you know, whatever else we do as a unit. Why wouldn't we able to just break that down? It's simple math, right? Like, it's not that difficult. So the idea that me as the man, I'm going to do everything just because I'm the man, I could get that, but then does that also mean that all her money, I get to control that as well, you know, if we're in a long-term relationship? Or is it just, you know, high level tricking at that point, you know? Because I can't tell the difference, which I know that may sound bad, but like, that's just what life experience has kind of taught me, right? Like, I don't see people just doing that, you know. People may make choices to kind of do things together to simplify it for both sides, but then that's the benefit, right? That is a big benefit. And I've only seen people who either just talk about this aspirationally or aren't really in a position either way, kind of even make that as a thing, right? Like, I don't think that the wealthiest people are kind of penny pinching about who's paying the bills, right? Like, if I'm making, you know, $10,000, $12,000 a month, right? Let's say at 150 yearly, and my rent is 2,500. Okay, yeah, I'll pay that 2,500. I'm not gonna come to you and say, yo, I need that 1,250. I mean, whatever it may be. Let's say you live in New York. I mean, at that point, let's say you got a nice place. Your place costs $4,000, and you by yourself. If a woman wanted to move in with you and have autonomy, right? Why wouldn't she want to kind of contribute? You know, I don't see how that really works in real life, to say people should just kind of put themselves in this position where if you're a man and you date a woman and you have to do everything. Call it what you want on my end, but it's never going to be anything but a logical business decision for me. You know, maybe it's some of the things that I've kind of experienced personally. Maybe it's kind of just my style of leadership, my background in management. Maybe it's my kind of observation of life, right? Like, it's just something that I think helps the whole situation when everybody kind of contributes in their own way, you know. And I don't think that's the difference between leadership or where respect should stem from, when it comes from man to woman, you know. And I don't think that, you know, beauty or sex or whatever it is where it should stem from woman to man, right? Like, I want to respect a woman for her mind and what she can kind of provide to our overall situation to make life better, you know. Maybe I'm the one with the vision, but she may be able to fill in the clues and bits and pieces and things like that. So we both have a value in kind of decision making, I would hope. You know, I don't want to be one of those people who even talks about it like, oh yeah, well, because I'm the man, the ultimate decision is mine. I don't even know what kind of hypothetical situation we would be talking about where it even needs to be that deep, you know. And obviously, a lot of things that you decide, I mean, it's going to come with action, right? So just talking about it, you know, it's just hypothetical. So I don't really like to do that, you know. But obviously, you know, in any situation, I'm looking to lead, right? Even if there's multiple leaders, right? I'm contributing as much as I can. I'm doing, and I'm trying to, you know, solve problems, right? And I think that's just where my mentality comes from. So, you know, part of it is just what makes the most sense, right, to both parties. And it would be hard for me, honestly. And I don't know how this would sound, and I guess I would have to deal with it in real time to really kind of know. But it would be hard for me to feel like a woman is completely invested if she's not willing to kind of pay, financially her way. Like, everybody knows that that's a big component of life, right? Like, I don't think the value in money, unfortunately, right? Because I'm a person who doesn't like that money is such a big part of our society, but it is what it is. That's how I kind of make my money, right? So I have to kind of deal with that. So even though it's not ideal, it's part of the game. So what can I say, right? And so as a man or as a woman, when you go from paying for 100% of yourself and your responsibilities, the real beauty and benefit is conjoining with somebody in a way, whether it's 50-50, which, let's get this clear, right? There's no such thing, right? There's no such thing. If you're a man, there's no 50-50. That's just a kind of a conceptual idea. 9 times out of 10, even if you do split bills down the middle, which is super petty, right? That's petty, right? I think a man, you should take the lion's share of everything, but obviously as a woman, as much as you can contribute comfortably, you should, right? Like, that's, that's just kind of being part of a team. But I think that, let's say all together you're in a relationship, right? Your combined expense per month is $3,500. Let's say the man puts up $2,500, the woman puts up $1,000. She's paying the light bill, she's paying the water bill, she buys groceries, whatever it is. That's like, let's say, I don't know, it's like 70-30 maybe, right? Or maybe a little bit more. What's wrong with that, right? What's really wrong with that? That's kind of makes sense. And for me, I will want a woman who wants to do that, honestly. Especially if it's not about like having kids and kind of being a homemaker or a housewife. If you just want to date and we don't got no children and you just want to be at the crib, I don't know. What I mean? I guess I ain't in that tax bracket yet to really kind of aspire to those type of women. But I mean, I don't think that's a beauty thing. I've seen beautiful women who work very hard and have, great careers or businesses and things like that. And, I can see them just wanting to be in a situation, especially if they're quote unquote independent and all these different things, which is where some of the contradiction comes in, but whatever. But I mean, that 2,500, 1,000, let's say the guy still pays for 70% of the outings and stuff like that. I mean, that's now more of a possibility because now he has a little bit of the security to know, well, at least my expenses with this woman aren't going to be extreme because, she's willing to contribute a decent portion, and I would think that just makes it easier to kind of do things and buy gifts and plan trips and do all the extra lovey stuff you can only do when you have a certain level of comfortability. And I feel like with that whole, a woman should want a man to pay all the bills argument, or a man paying all the bills argument, realistically, the men who want to do it, or even the women who kind of have that as a standard, it's almost like they want to sacrifice the other person's potential comfortability or ease or convenience for like their own personal, which, I can say it's selfish, but I don't know, everybody's kind of motivation for that. And, I think that even some people who believe in that, they say it one way on the internet or they say it one way kind of in basic conversation, but in real life, like, let's be real, would it really work like that, right? If you're dating a man, he's paying all the bills, right? And he tells you, like, listen, I want to make this move. I need 5,000, and you got it. You got it, and it's not like you gotta pay a bill, right? So you're gonna say no because he needs money from you. But isn't that kind of like the whole point of being in a union? You know, I thought, even if it's not a marriage, just a relationship that you're trying to build together, if it's a sound kind of investment, why not? And if you're not willing to do that, and I can do that and I pay all the bills, why wouldn't I just be single and have a multitude of chicks, especially if I got the money, you know? Which it sounds bad, but let's think about it logically, right? Like, I don't know what the woman could be providing, but like at that point, um, I think real world boots on the ground. If I'm busting my ass or working every day, or I got this business and I'm so successful, or I'm doing well enough that I can take care of you and me, I don't know what possible insight you could really give me. You know what I mean? I guess peace and stuff like that, but that's more or less like, I don't know. Sometimes I feel like that's like a woman saying, "I'll just make sure I can be tolerated, right, to be taken care of." And I don't know if I would necessarily want a woman with that mindset either. Which I can't say that's where it exactly is, but seems like it sometimes, right? And yeah, you know, like I said, I don't believe it's actually 50-50, because as a man, you're gonna do certain things. You're gonna, you know, you're gonna show face, right? Like you're gonna probably be the one who buys the most gifts, or you know, pays for the trips, or pays for the dinner, the outings, the different things that you just have expenses that come up. Oh, you should, you know. Um, I've never been one one of those guys in one of those relationships where the female pays for everything and just does all this stuff for me. I haven't found that chick, and if I did, then I think that I would do so much it wouldn't even be a thing, because just off GP, if she was willing to do those things for me, then I'm gonna want to give back to her. Like, I'm not that type of, you know, person. And even dating or just kicking it with somebody, like, I don't like the idea of that, you know what I mean? Because I never want somebody to be able to hold something over my head or tell me like, oh, they did this, they did that, they bought me this. Nah, I'm good. Like, everything I want is gonna be from the heart. Everything I do would be from the heart. But like, things also have they often things also have to be sound logically and financially, right? If you know, call yourself a business person or a financial, you know, person, or you make investments, or you do all these different things, it's hard not to see it a certain way, you know. And a lot of times, even with guys, right, like even the dudes I know who, you know, pay all the bills, if they're being honest about it, part of it is a control thing, you know. They want to be able to say they do it to not get pushed back in certain areas. And the thing about it, right, that I know from experience, and maybe this is where my mentality comes from, is that no matter what you do, there's always going to be pushback. And no matter how much you pay, um, at least in any relationship that I've been in, the woman is always going to feel like what she gives, whether it be mentally, physically, emotionally, whatever, what she gives is just as valuable in some regard as what you put out. As if you don't give the same things, but you know, we know how that goes, fellas, right? But that's just how it is, you know. That's just part of the game. So why not do it a certain way, right? And to even take it a step up, I mean, for me, you know, I don't have no ring, right? But I've been married in the past, right? So in that type of relationship, in a very serious long-term relationship, engagement, marriage, both people should be thinking towards the long-term goal and health of all parties involved. And I can't see how you do that with the mentality of, I'm going to come into this relationship, or I'm going to come into this situation expecting the man to pay all the bills, right? Now, there are situations that come about, and obviously when you create a family and you have children, the need for, you know, daycare and just someone to be with the kids, or just the natural, what I feel is the natural way and the way it should be done, where the mother, at least for the first 2-3 years, should be the child's primary caretaker, right? Obviously, if she breastfeeds, that's going to be necessary. But aside from that, there's a certain mental and spiritual component that I can't describe, right? But I do believe in that you don't want a lot of people around your child. You don't want your child hearing a lot of different voices. And you want the people who are going to be in your child's life forever to kind of have the strongest influence. And I can see also the very logical and understandable component. Well, maybe it's not logical, but it's understandable and it's natural component of a woman to want to be around her child and not really trust a lot of people with the child. So I understand the concept of, for a certain amount of time, there may be a need for the mom to stay at home. And even after, if that's the best situation kind of financially and logistically for the family, then she may just decide to be a housewife, right? And take care of the kids and take care of the family and take care of home. Now, with that being said, I do kind of understand and appreciate the women in that situation who find ways to kind of still contribute financially, because the world we live in now is definitely possible, right? And a lot of the more successful units, that's what they do in one way or another, whether it be the woman working for the husband in some form of fashion or helping him with business in some form of fashion, or her having her own thing that she does on the side that's just flexible enough that she can do it while also, taking care of the home, which is, it's definitely important, right? I want to say that honestly. But at the same time, it's different, right? It's different from actually working, and it's different from, having a job and having demands and having a deadline or having a boss or having a business to run, right? Because it is your home, you do have a certain control over it. And I think that is the benefit and the privilege, if I may say that way, that those women get, or even men who are in that situation who decide to take care of the children versus working, right? And not to say, not to downplay it, right? But that's just to be honest about the situation and put the understanding where it should be. Because, that's what it is. And the person who's on the other side of that, who may work, they're going to be hard pressed to kind of feel like what you do is the same as what I do when I have to go out into the world, or I have to, devote X, Y, and Z time here. You know, just because, right? I've been there. So I want to be honest about that. But with that being said as well, I think that that's definitely something that can have an extreme value for the family overall in the unit. And I mean, it really just depends on the situation. Now, if, that woman is, fortunate enough to be in a position where she does make a good amount of money, and let's say she had been making $100,000, or let's just say 60,000, right? It's going to be hard to take that 60,000 off of the bottom line without that same value coming back in other ways, or at least kind of halfway, or like somewhere, 60-75% of that kind of offsetting, right? Like writing off your taxes, right? If we're going to lose this 60,000 in income, then we need to be able to write it off in daycare fees, or meal prep, or like cleaning, whatever it is, right? So that's the idea, I would think, that's behind those things. And it's something that you got to talk about. You got to communicate about these things, because I don't think there's any real hard line that should just be expected by anybody. I think that this is something that individual situations and relationships have to define for themselves, and both people have to go into that kind of agreement and negotiation in good faith, right? And with the idea that I'm going to do the most I can with respect to what makes sense, for us. And when you think like that, I don't see how you even give a fuck who's paying the bills, man. Are they getting paid, and how much do we have afterwards to live, right? And hey, I want to do this, so I'm going to make sure I got enough here, but I want to make sure that my partner gets the same kind of freedom and the same kind of luxury that I'm getting as well. So maybe there's a certain amount we both put towards the overall, benefit based on how much we both make. I mean, It doesn't have to be that complicated. And I think that anybody who's wanting to do it the right way, I believe, they wouldn't have an issue with that. So it's hard for me when I hear these conversations online, just to bring it full circle. It's hard for me when I hear these conversations and everybody's saying, well, if you're not doing it like this, that means this. If you think like this, that means you just broke. If you think like this, then that means you just can't do it. Nah, I mean, I don't know if it's like that, right? And what sense does that make? I don't think the people, and I'll say this honestly, I've probably never been in a position where I've been with somebody who, like, it's been the same situation on both ends coming into it, right? And so let's just say, right, like I've never had that luxury to kind of even make those decisions with somebody, you know what I mean? But obviously, I think that the next situation I ever get into, you would have to kind of have some type of understanding of what the expectations are and what we believe is the right way to do things. And if that ever happens, right, which I don't know, but if that ever happens, then, you know, it's something that I'm going to take as it comes, right? I'm not the type of nigga that's going to say, like, oh, this is the only way I'm doing this, or if shorty ain't with this, then I ain't with it. I got my principles that I stand on, but none of them are about that, because regardless, I want to be able to be good on my own, right? So anything else from that is just a choice or an agreement. And, you know, that's just how I look at it. And also, right, to take it one step further, right, how do you, all right, like, so for those of us who are a little bit older and have the blessing and the privilege of being parents, right, how do you even go into a situation having children saying, like, you know, I make this 100K, I give my children this great life, right, because I make so much money. You can never have enough. So I don't even know where that kind of idea comes from. But all the money that I get is to give myself and my kids a better life now and into the future, right? I'm not cutting that cost for somebody. You know what I mean, right? Like, what you crazy, shorty? Like, what you mean I'm about to just pay for you too? I definitely do things for you. I definitely treat you when we together. Like, you got it. But like, for me to really talk to you and get to know you, I gotta treat you like one of my children. Oh nah, I'm gonna put my kids in that Dior before I put a. Listen, man, it ain't like that over here. I don't know. Maybe I'm just, you know, I don't know. I wouldn't even joke and say maybe I'm a whack nigga, but maybe I'm just not the one for that. You know what I mean? And I feel like I will only want to be with a woman who understands and looks at life the same way, because I'm never going to ask her to put me over herself in certain ways, right? And essentially, that's what you're doing. You know what I mean? Now, if you need some help and I rock with you like that, I got you. But for that to be the expectation and entitlement, or for me to sit here and say, ego blazing, right? Say, oh, well, because I'm a man, I'm going to do it like this. Nah. Nah. I'm goody. I'm good on that. And I'm good on that idea being something that's going to stop me from getting to know you. You know what I mean? Because I promise you, it's not because niggas is broke all the time. I promise you, it's not just because niggas was raised this way or that way. Like, it just don't make sense to some of us, I guess, you know? And it's not saying that, I mean, who knows what it would be, right? I could get with a shorty right now, right? And I would have no problem paying for like everything. But if she got it and I see that she just don't believe in contributing financially, okay, so that's gonna make me scrutinize and look at what she brings to the table in other ways, right? So even if the sex is crazy, even if the it's hard for me even to say the mental would be crazy, because how crazy could your mental be if you don't even want to add to the pie, right? Like, you just want to, you know, soak up. And I just wouldn't be a fan of that, you know what I mean? And I'm sorry, like, But like I said, in a relationship, or getting to the point that I think maybe sometimes the people who are having these conversations immediately jump to, then yeah, it's a conversation that we can have. And I've even been in something very close to that in the past, right? But like to think about that going in, and for me to even like hear a shorty out, a woman out, with her kind of having that on the brain or on the docket like early on, nah, I'm questioning some things, bro. Like I don't know, maybe I'm bugging. You know what I mean? If I am, let me know. If I'm tripping, let me know. I know a lot of people believe in the traditional roles, which I don't think the traditional roles are just so black and white that it's just, um, the man does all this, the woman does that. No, I think that it was based off of what brought the best value to the situation at the time. And in the past, when these niggas had 7, 8, 9, 10 children, right? Because ask your grandma, ask your grandma, ask your great grandma. They had wild kids. There wasn't daycares or schools crazy popping like that. They used to have to teach the kids what to do on the land, on the farm, or whatever, right? That was a job in itself. Like, let's not get it twisted just saying traditional. You know what I mean? Come on, don't be disingenuous. Don't be dumb. Don't be naive. Your great grandma used to be busting her ass, washing them clothes with the little metal board. You've seen it, right? 7, 8, 9, 10 children. As soon as the daughter 18, she got a kid. Not even 18, 15. What is you saying? You know what I mean? Especially y'all from the South. You know how you give it up. Especially y'all from the islands. You know how y'all give it up, right? So I've been in all these different places. I've met people from all these different places. I got lineage from these different places. And I know I don't know personally, but I've heard the stories, and I can imagine just picturing the lifestyle and what they had and didn't have, that staying at home with them kids was a struggle. Way more of a struggle than it is now, probably, but it was crazy, and they had a lot of kids. So that was the best situation, and that brought a lot of value to the family. And it's not like that woman could go get a job a lot of times, right? It's not like she could just go get a job that was worth what she did. That's not the case anymore. So what's the real psychology and the logic behind able-bodied adults just not trying to do the best for their family? And I guess that's something that's going to always be relative, whether it be a family, whether it be a relationship, whether it be, you just like somebody and you kicking it with them. Why wouldn't you want to do right by them? Why wouldn't you want to do the best you can? And why wouldn't you want to work a situation out that works best for both? I don't think a man just paying all the bills is that. I don't think a woman just paying all the bills is that. Because let's be clear, that's whenever it's that, it's super whack, right? Let's be honest. When a woman even talks about having to pay more than 40% of the, even 50, just think about that. Just think about the logic, right? A woman paying 50% of a family or a couple's bills is detestable on the internet. It's detestable. A woman paying for a man, paying his way, he's broke, he's a Pookie, right? He's a Ray Ray. She's paying for a man. That man is the scum of the earth. We got dudes getting locked up for swindling on Tinder, right? It's not the game when it's a man doing it to a woman, but when a woman expects a man to do everything, it's regular, right? It should be the standard. Just think about it, right? Just think about the logic there. And in 2022, inflation, recession, quarantine, pandemic, all that, right? People can work from home. You can get money from your computer. You can make investments. The more capital you have as a unit, as a person, the better. The more buying power you have, the better your credit, the more financial freedom you have. the more trips you can take, mental health, all the benefits that come with that. And you're going to tell me that you want to be in a healthy relationship, but you don't want to contribute in all the ways you can. You got to kind of make it make sense to me, you know? And I get it, right? Once you have children with somebody and you're trying to build a family, these are decisions you have to make. But some of, I'm going to have to end the video soon, right? But like some of the situations we're talking about, people come into it with children. And they're saying these things. So I got a kid, you got a kid. You come in with your kid, I come in with my kid, and you telling me I gotta pay all your bills. I gotta understand the logic behind that. If I even decide to even want to hear you out, right? Like just think about it. It doesn't make sense. You know, it's one of those things that sound good in theory on the internet, just kind of yapping, but nah. You know what I mean? Nah, I'm good. I'll pass on that. You know, I guess it's not for me. And I hate that more and more in the spaces that I sometimes frequent as a man, that starts to become kind of the message. Not that I like wholly disagree with it, but I think that it's something that you have to take in context. And you have to take with a grain of salt, and it's situational, you know? Because, I mean, while you building, while you coming up, that's going to set you back, right? Whether, you know, I can tell you firsthand knowledge. I've seen, I've been, I've done, whatever, been on either side of that, let's say, right? It'll set you back trying to do too much for somebody else without them doing while you still trying to build. Because it's almost like I'm trying to build this house. I'm trying to build this fortress. Every time I build, you taking a block off, right? And I'm building, you're taking the block off. At best, right? You're doubling my work, right? Because even if I'm building fast, I speed up, you're still taking a block off. So every time I got to put 2 blocks just for every one that you take. Versus you, even if you add in a little piece, just a little half a block, you helping, right? Even if it's 10%. Even if it's 15%, 20%, right? And I mean, let's just break it down like this, right? So, all right, if I'm living my life, I'm a guy, you know, I'm making a decent amount of money, right? Let's say I'm making 75,000, right? Let's just throw a number out. How much should a woman really cost me? You know what I mean? Now, if she just rides my wave and she lives with me and she just does everything that I do and whatever, and she pays for whatever ancillary things that she does, maybe it just doesn't cost me anything. And I just sacrifice my space and my, you know, time or whatever it is, right? That's a relationship, okay? But then what about, you know, when we gotta go out, we gotta do these different things, okay? How much should that cost? How much is it? Because, I mean, I feel like it's always this arbitrary thing that, okay, a man should just pay all the bills. Well, what are your bills, shorty? I don't even know, right? Because outside of the stuff we both need to live, but you got a car note, but you got some student loans. Like, why should I mean, I don't know. If you my wife, I guess, right? But as we gotten there, we should have come up with a plan for all this stuff by then, right? So I don't get it. And, you know, if you didn't get those things with me, like, I mean, you was sucking dick in college, shorty. Like, I didn't know you. You know what I mean? Why am I paying for your student loans, right? Like, what? I don't know how many bodies you caught, how many wild parties, how many, you know what I mean? All type of stuff, right? And it's not even about that, but I'm just saying, like, just think about it. You know what I mean? Like, why? What type of woman would you want to just feel like she's obligated to something like that, right? And when people are obligated to stuff like that, you can't even do anything nice for them, right? Because I damn near do everything to sustain you, right? And I don't say that like in a funny way, but like if I'm paying all the bills, I'm doing all these things, then I'm also supposed to like buy you gifts and do nice things. What happens when I just want to do something nice for you, right? I gotta think about it now, right? And then I got to do nice things for myself, or do I got to like ask you to do it with your money? Like, because now you sitting on a little surplus. Like, I really don't really be understanding it. You know what I mean? I really don't understand it, right? So somebody's got to explain it to me. You got to help me out. I hope my, my thoughts and my theories don't scream broke, nigga. But, if it does, it is what it is. You know what I mean? But it's just been a thing for me, man. And like I said, I've been on both sides of the fence. I much prefer a situation where we both are equally invested, however that may be. But there has to be like the willingness, right? The willingness at least to give equal investment and effort and time and energy and consistency with it, Or else for what? You know what I mean? I might as well just, hit me up on the weekend. We can kick it. You can come over. You don't gotta pay, right? I ain't gonna pay you to come kick it at Club Top Slug. We can lay up. We can go out. We can have a good night together, Shit. I mean, I got it. You know what I mean? I'm trying to have a good night. I'll pay, We can keep it there. Why we gotta mix business with pleasure? Because that's what it is, right? That's exactly what it is. I don't, you know what I mean? Business is business. Pleasure is pleasure. If we building together. We're not building, you're not just riding a wave, right? If you building and I'm building, then we both building. And we helping each other by, reducing costs. And we can do that in more ways than one, but like I'm not treating an adult, bro. I'm sorry. I can't treat an adult to life at this point in life. It costs too much. And I've learned that when you do those things, you don't get value like you should. You don't get the appreciation you should, and it starts to make it about that when you don't want things to be. You rather do things from the goodness of your heart. And so the only way to make sure that's a possibility is for there to be an equal or, reciprocal standard. You know what I mean? And then I'll pay anyway, right? Because I'm that nigga. But at least it'll be because I'm that nigga. Not because you think any nigga should do that. Like any nigga is going to do that. No. No. You got the game twisted. But, those are just my thoughts on it. You know what I mean? Hour long. Like I said, relationships. These are topics that we can get into all day. I hope it makes sense. I hope you follow along. Like, subscribe. If I got the energy, I'll try to come back with another one, man. I've been slacking, but, feeling good tonight. I got to work in the morning, of course, but I get to see my little ones, you know what I mean? I'll do that any day. That'll have me looking forward to any day. So feeling good tonight. Try to come back with another video. I do have some more topics that I've been seeing that I want to get into. And we just might, all right? But that was it, right? That was it for this one. It's your boy, The Top Slug, The Sofa King, Jay Haynes. And I'm out, man. I don't know, man. I got this new chair. It's not my final office chair yet, but this is my bathroom chair. It's pretty comfortable. It's better for my back, I think, I would show you the nasty folding chair I've been sitting in, but nah. But yeah, man, it's coming together. I'm trying to get more consistent. I'm gonna try to get some type of format since this is kind of probably the layout that I'm gonna have to use for the time being. Still just using the iPhone right now. Picture is nice. Hopefully the sound quality is nice. Hopefully you can hear me. Maybe I need to project and enunciate more, but that's always going to be a work in progress. I'm not getting paid yet, so you get the hood voice, right? You get the relaxed Top Slug voice, not the Jay Haynes. You know what I mean? But either way, I'm rambling now. We at an hour. We're going to cut it. 59 and some change. We did it, man. We back. All right. And I'm going to try to stay consistent, but I'm not going to lie to you, man. I don't know, bruh. Start watching. The more people watch, then I have more motivation, right? Enjoy the video. Like, subscribe, leave a comment, please. Show some love, man. I hope I can touch base with some other content creators, some like-minded people, some good people. Even if you disagree, let's have a conversation, you know? That's what I'm about. I'm bored as fuck, right? All right, man. Like I said, it's your boy, the Top Slug, the Sofa King. We out.